Welcome to another video of math content. Today we will be learning properties of exponents. So through this video we'll learn multiple exponent rules and apply those exponent rules to multiple sample problems for today's lecture. So if you can recall, an exponent measures how many times you multiply a number by itself. So for example, if you have a number 3 and you bring it to the power of 4, the 4 is the exponent and the 3 is the base. So what this expression represents is that you multiply the number 3 by itself 4 times. So it'll be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81. Anyways, going on to the exponent rules for today. The first exponent rule that we'll be looking at is the multiplication rule, in which if we have a base of a to the and then two values of a to the power x and a to the power y, and since they both have the same base, they must have the same base. If they have the same base, you can add the exponents together. Now going on to the second exponent rule, the division rule. If you have a to the power x over a to the power y, you just subtract the units. The exponents. Just basically the opposite of multiplication. For the third exponent rule, the power of a power rule, if you have a to the power x and you bring that to the power y, you just multiply that exponent here by the other one, the y. So you just multiply x by y, and that's it. Fourth is the power of product rule. So let's just say we have two bases a and b, and we bring that to the power of x. Well, this is the same thing as a to the power of x times b to the power of x, right? And then for the fifth one, power of a fraction rule, this is just basically the opposite. You're just bringing a to the power of x over b to the power of x. That's basically it. For number 6, the zero exponent, if you bring a to the power of 0, which could just be like anything, right? This would just equal 1. So if you just bring 1 to the power of 0, it'd just be 1. If you bring 3 to the power of 0, it would be 1. So yeah. And then for the 7th one, the negative exponent. Let's say we have the base a, and we bring that to the power of negative x. You just basically flip it to 1 over a to the x. Right? So let's just say we have something called like 3 to the power of negative 2. We just flip this to 3 squared, and that would be 1 over 9. Just as an example. And then the next one, the final one, is the fractional exponent, in which we have a to the x over y is equal to the root y of a to the power of x. So for example, if you have like the square root of like x squared, this is just x to the power of 2 over 2, right? Which is equal to x. So anyways, let's go over some sample problems for today. For number 1, we have x to the power of negative 3 times the x to the power of 7 to the power of negative 2. So what we can do is that we're looking not only at the power product rule, but the power rule. So we're going to focus on this one first. So we'll multiply these two together and then times x to the 7 times negative 2. So this would just equal x to the 6 times the x to the negative 14. And this would just be x to the negative 8, which is 1 over x8. we must express everything in positive exponents. For number 2, it's 2x to the power negative 2, power 3 over x to the power 4. So I'm going to evaluate the numerator first. So we're going to use the power of a product rule again, and the power of a power rule. So let's focus on the 2 first. So we bring 2 to the power 3, that would be 8, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Then we focus on the x to the power negative 2, negative 2 times 3 over x to the power 4. This would just be 8 times x to the power negative 6 over x to the power 4. And finally, you have 8 over x to the 4 times x to the 6, which is then 8 over x to the 4 plus 6 is 8 over x to 10. Number 3, we're working with a squared over b to the power 3 to the power of 2 times the a over b to the power negative 1. So I'm going to look at this thing first. I'm going to look at the a squared. This is the power of fraction rule combined with the power of product rule. So we're going to look at the a squared here, right? This is just a to the 2 times 2 over b to the 3 times 2 times a to the power negative 1 over b to the power negative 1. Okay, now let's evaluate this fraction. So this is a to the 4 over b to the 6 times a to the negative 1 over b to the negative 1. Now we just look at this. So using the multiplication rule, we could do a to the power 4 plus negative 1 over b to the power 6 plus negative 1. And this is a to the power 3 over b to the power 5. Okay. Number 4, we have x to the 5 times y to 0 over x squared to the power 3. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is that since I see a y to the power 0, we could automatically identify that we could use the 0 exponent property. So y to the 0, right? Anything to the 0 is just 1. So this goes away technically. And so we're working with x to the power 5 over x squared power 3. Now I'm just going to evaluate the inside portion. This is just x to the 5 minus 2 because of the division rule. All that to the power 3. So this is just x to the 3 to the power 3, which is x times 3 using the power of power rule. So this is just x to the power 9. Number 5, we are working with x to the 1/2 to the power of 4, all divided by x to the power 1 over 3. So I'm going to evaluate the numerator using the power of a power rule. X to the 1/2 times 4 over x to the 1 over 3 is x 1/2 minus x 1 over 3 is x 1/2 minus 1 over 3. And then this is going to be 3 minus 2 over 6. So this is x to the power 1 over 6, and that is your answer. Okay, number 6, we have 2 times x to the power negative 1 times y squared cubed times x y negative 2 times squared. Okay, let's go from left to right. So we're going to be using the power of a product rule and then the power of a power rule as well. So this is going to be 2 to the power of 3 times x negative 1 times 3 times y to, or yeah, and then this would be x power 2 times y times y to the power negative 2 times 2, right? And then now we just evaluate everything. So this would be 8 times x to the power negative 3 times y to the power 6, and all that times x squared times y to the power negative 4, because negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Okay, now we're looking at the x's. We want to combine the x's. So this is the multiplication rule. X to the power negative 3 plus 2 times y to the power 6 plus negative 4. So finally, this is 8 x to the negative 1 times y to the power 2. Finally, you get 8y squared over x to express everything in terms of positive exponents. Okay, number 7, we have a to the power negative 2 over a to the power 3, all that to the power negative 3. So I'm just going to evaluate the inner portion of the expression. So we do 1 over a to the power 3 minus negative 2, all that to the power negative 3. So this is just going to be 1 over a to the power 5, because 3 minus negative 2 is 5, and all that to the power negative 3. Now this is just basically 1 power negative 3 over a 5 times negative 3, which is 1 over a power negative 15, which is a over 15. The eighth problem is x power 4 over y to the 8th. It's power 3 over 4. This is just basically the power of a fraction rule is power of a power rule again. That's the power of 4 times 3 over 4 all over y to the 8th, 3 over 4. This cancels to x to the power 3, or then this cancels to 2, so y to the power 6, and that's the answer. Number 9, we had squared times y, all that power 0, times x power 5 over x power negative 2. Basically using the 0 exponent rule, this is just going to be, this part is just going to be 1, so it's 1 times, and then we're going to use the division rule, x to the power 5 minus negative 2, so this is just x to the power 7. Number 10 is x squared, y to the power negative 1 times, cube, times xy all squared divided by x to the power 4 times y to the power negative 3. So I'm going to evaluate this portion first. This is just going to be x to the power 2 times 3 times y to the power negative 1 times 3 times x squared times y squared all over x to the power 4 times y to the power negative 3. So now we just combine everything together. Actually, no, let's evaluate the exponents first. X to the power 2 times 3 is 6 times y to the power 1 negative 1 times 3 is negative 3 times x squared times y squared all over x to the power 4 times y to the power negative 3. I can see that this cancels, and now we want to use the exponent rules for the multiplication and division rules for the x term. So we're working with x to the power 6 plus 2 because all this is the numerator, and then minus 4 because this is the denominator, and all that times y squared because this is alone. So this is x to the power of 6 plus 2 is 8, minus 4 is going to be 4 times y squared, and that's going to be the answer. Okay, let's go on to the challenge problems for today. We have 4 of them. So the first one is going to be x to the power 2 over 3 times x 3 times x 1 over 3, power 1 over 3, all over x to the power negative 1/2. And all this is power 2. So we're going to evaluate the inner portion. This is just x to the power 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3 minus 1/2 power 2. And this is just going to be 1/2 because 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3 is 1 minus 1/2 is 1/2. And this is all the power 2. So this is just x. Because x to the power 1/2 times 2 using the power rule, this will cancel to just x. Okay, we're working with a really big expression for this one. 2a power negative 1 times b all to the power 2 divided by a squared. B to the power negative 1 all to the negative 1 times a cubed or b cubed, and let's just make sure I have everything right. And okay, this is good. Okay, so let's evaluate this part first, since everything here is just basically done. So this is just 4 a to the power negative 1 times 2 times b to the power 2 over a to the 2 times negative 1 b to the negative 1 times negative 1 times a cubed over e cubed. So this will evaluate to 4a to the power negative 2 b squared over a to the power negative 2 times b negative 2 times a 3 over b 3. I can see that this cancels, and now we have 4b. I'm going to just use the division rule here. This is basically b to the power 4. Just this part, right? This is b to the power 4. And now we're working with a to the power 3 times b to the power 3. So this, for this one, for a, power 3 is just alone. And now we're going to work with the division rule for b, for the b term. This is b to the power 4 minus 3. So this is just 4a to the power 3 times b. And that is your answer. All right, number 13. A to the power negative 2 times b to the power 3 all over negative 2. Okay, wait. I think this is just a to the power negative 2 times b to the power 3, 2. All right, times a b for a squared b negative 1. So this is the problem. So let's evaluate the numerator first. So this is just a to the negative 4 times b to the power negative 6. You should be comfortable with the exponent rules by this point. And all that times a to the power 4 times b to the power negative 4. Now evaluating the the denominator. This is just a squared negative squared times b to the power negative 1. So I'm just going to evaluate the numerator first. So a to the negative 4 times, a negative 4 plus 4 times b to the negative 6 minus 4 all over a negative 2 b negative 1. So this is just 1, and this is b to the power negative 10 all over a to the negative 2 times b to the power 4. We want to express everything in positive exponents, so I'm just going to flip this a to negative 2, right? 1 over negative 2 is just going to be a to 2. So this is a. This is a squared over b to the power 14. And this is because we're doing the division rule, right? I can show it here. So this is just b negative 10 minus 4. This is b negative 14 using the negative exponent rule. This is just 1 over b to the power 14. So this is the answer. And finally, the last problem of the day. This is x to the power negative 4 over 3 times y squared all over x to the power 2 over 3 times y negative 1, and this all to the power negative 3 over 2. Okay. I'm going to evaluate the inner portion first, the inside of parentheses, right? So this is just, I'm going to do y to the 2 minus negative 1 over x to the power 2 over 3 minus negative 4 over 3, and all that to the power negative 3 over 2. So this is just y to the y to the power 3 over x. Okay, well, 2 over 3 minus negative 4 over 3 is just plus 4 over 3. So this is just 6 over 3, which is 2. So we got x squared all of 3 over 2. Okay, and finally, y to the power 3 times 3 over 2 over x power 2 times 3 over 2. So this goes away, and this evaluates to y to the power 9 over 2 times x to the power 3, and this will be the answer. So yeah, thank you for tuning into today's video. There are more practice problems in the free worksheet in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and please share this to your friends and your kids. And yes, thank you.